I'm Shan, and this is Acrylics and Heartbreak Garage, where glossy nails still get work done. So, if your wheels are giving you rusty, crusty, dusty, plain Jane vibes, and you're trying to give it a quick little glow up, especially for 2026, but you're not trying to pay those shop prices, this is for you. Letting you know right now, you do not need to be a mechanic, because I'm definitely not. You do not need any fancy tools, because I definitely do not have any. And most importantly, you do not need to sacrifice being cute to do this work. I am going to walk us through step by step, so do not worry. I will let you know what matters and what doesn't matter. Your calipers in itself work very hard, so this is not going to be doing anything for its functionality. It is purely cosmetic, but what's wrong with having a little cute aesthetic when you're riding in your whip, okay? So if you're ready to go get this done, go get your tools, and let's go get started. Oh, I forgot to add in the video my nails, just so you can see that you can still look cute while you're doing it. So here are my nails. It's been a couple days later. They're still holding up really good. I did say somewhere in the video that I didn't lose any gems or charms or anything like that. So in all honesty, I did. Not then, but afterwards, since it's been a few days since then. I've had this set on for a couple weeks now. It's about time to do a new set. But yes, I did lose a charm. I have no idea how I lost it, but it's missing. But anywho, let's go get started. Okay, so here's a quick crash course on calipers. So when you're pressing in your brake pedal, you're sending a message through your brake fluid that says to your brakes, hey, I need you to stop like right now. That pressure then travels through the brake lines straight to your calipers that are at each wheel. Inside your calipers are pistons. Now, when the pressure hits, those pistons push into your brake pads that are on both sides. Kind of like a really strong squeeze that clamps down on the brake rotor, which is that big shiny disc behind your wheel. Think of your brake calipers as like that strong best friend who sees you doing something you're not supposed to be doing, and they grab your arm and say, absolutely not. That's basically what the braking system does. So short version is you push in your pedals, it creates pressure. That pressure then engages the calipers to push into the brake pads. Those braking pads then squeeze into the shiny silver thing, which is your rotor, and then your car slows down. Let's talk about the supplies you're going to need. I got most of these from Harbor Freight, but you can get them usually from any auto or hardware store. You're going to want a car jack, a jack stand, which is optional but helpful for added security, which is in the bottom right. The car jack is at the top, middle. You're going to want a microfiber cloths in the bottom left, about 2 of them, a wire brush at the top right for cleaning off your rust off of your caliper. You're also going to want some rubbing alcohol and about a 500 grit sandpaper to wipe off the rust dust, which I didn't include in this picture. Brake cleaner, a high heat primer, the caliper paint color of your choice, or engine paint, whichever is available, and a crystal clear enamel top coat. You're going to also want to have some painter's tape, a couple trash bags, a breaker bar, and a lug nut socket set, and you have to find which socket fits your wheels nuts. Quick disclaimer, you should be doing this when it's about 60 to 80 degrees outside with low humidity. I was being hard-headed because I wanted to do it right now, so I had to come up with an alternative way to dry my coats. Also, I didn't show this, but make sure that you're putting a brick or a block in front of one of the tires that you're not working on so that your car doesn't move, and make sure your emergency brake is on. Now we need to jack this tire up and remove the nuts holding the tire in place. You can do it in that order, but because the weight of the car gives good leverage when loosening the bolts, actually loosen them up a bit before I jack the car up. This also applies when changing the tire, which I'll be making a separate video on. Once I have the tire off the ground, you see that I put a jack stand in place to allow me to use the car jack to start lifting another tire up on the opposite side. But you don't have to do that. It just saves a little bit of time. Once you do that, you're going to want to fully remove the bolts from the tire and then remove the tire. My car is fairly new, so there was minimal rust built up on my actual caliper. You can see that it's pretty clean and there's no rust there, but I still sprayed a little bit of brake cleaner on, and then I wiped it down with a microfiber cloth. If you do have built up rust, you're going to want to use your wire brush to knock that off. And if you do remove rust, you can also use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to wipe that area afterwards, just to make sure that you get any loose dirt or rust off of it so that the paint can adhere to it. I also started to turn the alignment towards me to make it easier for me to see the caliper. You'll only be able to do this with the front two tires, since those are the ones that can turn. The back two tires will not be able to do this, but you shouldn't have any issues seeing the caliper. Now you're going to want to go ahead and get the trash bags and poke a medium-sized hole in it and place it over the brake rotor and other parts outside of the caliper. Use the tape to secure it in place. Also use the bag to cover the top area so there wouldn't be any flinging spray paint residue. My silly self decided to do this when it was getting late, so I had to start setting up lights outside for me to be able to see what I was doing. Not the best picture, but you can try to see where I put the tape at, where the bleeder screw is, in those top two areas, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then those middle open areas are the piston. You really want to make sure that you don't get any paint in there, so you'll see I'm putting even more tape where the piston area is so that it does not mess up the functions of my caliper. Now you can go ahead and start spraying on the primer. You're going to want to put 3 coats in total. The first and second coat you can let dry about 5 minutes in between. And then on the third coat, make it a little heavier and let that dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now you can see what I did, since I wanted to be hard-headed and try to do this when it was cold outside. But I had to set up a heater to have the paint properly dry between coats. What I failed to show you earlier was you can use a trash bag or a drop cloth to put under your work area to make sure that you're not having any paint dripping, which I didn't do until I started having paint dripping. So don't do what I did. Now after your 3 coats of primer, you're going to want to start spraying the color of your choice. You're going to continue to do the same exact thing. 3 coats, the first 2, 5 minutes, dry time. Last one, make it heavier and allow 10 to 15 minutes to cure. You're going to also do this for the top coat. My poor husband felt so bad for me that he ran out to go get a heat gun to make it a little easier for me to dry, since I was struggling. And it made it a little easier since it was more concentrated. Once everything is dry and you have your top coat on, you're going to want to carefully remove the trash bags and tape and start cleaning up your area. Make sure to remove the tape that you put on the bleeder screw where the piston areas are and those other 2 areas. Then you're going to get your tire, put it back on, secure your bolts in place. Disclaimer, tires can be heavy, so be careful. If you use a jack stand before you do anything, put your car jack back under the car, jack your car up slightly higher than the jack stand so that you can carefully remove it. Then you'll slowly release your car jack to allow it to let your wheel touch the ground again. So basically, you're literally just doing the opposite steps that you did to take the tire off. Since I did this in the dark, I had to wait till the next morning to see the actual results. Very happy the way it turned out. If this helped you or gave you the confidence to at least try, I want you to save it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when I post new do-it-yourself content. Welcome to the garage, and I'll see you in the next one.